All right. Hey, friends, thank you so much for coming to your mat to do your practice today. My intention today is just to get it moving. Sometimes the most important thing is to get out of your head and get into your body. So sometimes when there's energy that just needs to move through, you just got to get right to it because you'll see the results faster in the mental, emotional body if you can get the physical body to move some stuff through. So go ahead and come onto your hands and your knees and we'll start in table pose. So just gently settle down through the chest. As you inhale, look forward, lift your sitting bones. Exhale, round into your back. Inhale, look forward, just a couple more rounds of this. Exhale, round into a cat arch. And one more round. Inhale, look forward, lift your seat. And a nice deep exhale, rounding into the back, pulling the abdomen up toward the spine, and settle to a neutral table. All right, now we're going to move the torso around a little bit more from side to side, more circular pattern. So take your right ribs out to the right, and then bring the chest forward and the left ribs out to the left, and then round and sit back a little bit toward the heels. You get the idea. So move the whole torso around. You might be moving the shoulders forward, even past the wrists a little bit. Shifting the whole torso around and then switch the direction. Oh yeah. And then settle back into a neutral table position. Walk your hands forward and then sit back in a puppy pose. Reach the sitting bones back toward the heels, keeping a lift in the inner shoulder, undersides of the arms. Inhale, lift yourself up halfway and walk your hands over to the right, 45 degrees or so, and sit yourself back, deepen the stretch down into the left side. Oh yeah. Lift up about halfway. Now keep yourself over to the right. Keep the left hand out there and forward up on the fingertips, and then we're going to thread the needle. Thread your right arm under your left and then scoot it out there and set yourself down on your right shoulder. Just take a nice twist here, pressing the right arm down into the floor. And just breathe, feeling into the twist. All right, and then slowly unthread the needle. Walk your hands through center and over to the left and sit back. So up on the fingertips gives you a deeper stretch into the sides. It may be that your shoulders don't like it, so feel free to have the palms flat on the floor if you prefer. Another round of breath. And then inhale, lift up halfway. So keep walking that right hand off to the left and then slide the left arm underneath the right to thread the needle. Scoot the left hand out to the right and then set yourself down on your left shoulder. Oh yeah. Just see if there's any room to be turning the torso a little more open. As you look underneath that right arm, you don't have to turn and look up. Just see if you can twist the torso a bit. And just feel into that. So it's just a nice wringing out of the dish rag, so to speak. Get some of those energies out that just get caught, clog up the works. All right, and then slowly start to lift up, unthread the needle. Walk both hands back to center, and let's find your first downward dog. Curl your toes under, lift your knees. Pressing down through alternate heels. And then with the weight on the left foot, lift the right leg, bend the knee, open up through the hip as you press the hands down and forward. Roll up onto the ball of the left foot and then root down through the left heel. And do that a number of times. With that right knee open, still drawing that outer left hip crease back. And then swing the right foot forward, come on into a high lunge. Just a high lunge, hands are in line with the front ankle. Back leg straight and strong. Press down into your right heel so that you get a nice kind of lift up. You feel the glutes engage and contribute a little bit more to the pose. All right, plant the hands and step back to a plank position. So coming right to your plank, pull your hands back and your toes forward isometrically and start to get a little fire going in your abdomen. So pull the belly in and up. And then slowly lower down to the floor. And we'll take a little cobra pose. Bring the shoulder heads forward, lift up. Pull the shoulder heads back and breathe. And lower back down. Curl your toes under, come right back up to your downward facing dog. All right, so other leg, lift the left leg, bend the knee, open up through the hip. Keep the shoulders strong and lifted. Press the hands down and forward. And just let yourself roll up and down on the right foot if that works for you. Allowing the right heel to root toward the floor. It doesn't have to get there all the way. You're just starting to work it a little bit more fully through the calf muscles, the back of the leg. Oh yeah. And on your next exhale, swing your left foot forward and through, come into a lunge. Just a high lunge, hands stay on the floor. Then engage the legs a little bit more. Press down into your left heel and pull your left glutes up. So you take the energy of the left glutes and root it toward the back of the knee. Keep your right leg lifted, inner thigh strong. All right, plant the hands, plank pose. Lower down to the floor. And take a cobra pose. Curl your toes under, come on back up to down dog. Walk your hands back to your feet and come to forward fold. Just enjoy the pose, right? So if the pose is something that you can't really say you enjoy, then I get you. I get where you're coming from. Keep your knees bent. You can have your hands up on your shins or your ankles and just simply be in a bent leg forward fold, letting your head hang. And just let yourself kind of adjust to being in this nice inverted pose. Now slide the hands up your shins to your knees. Come to a skier's pose. Take your arms out and forward. Make it a chair pose. Pull your abdomen in and up really strongly. Come all the way up to standing. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen halfway forward, Ardha Uttanasana, and then exhale, fold in. Walk your hands back out to a down dog. Lift your right leg up behind you, and this time, bend the knee, open up through the hip, and then straighten your right leg. Spread the toes, lift the foot up really high, pulling back in the outer left hip crease, and then on your exhale, swing your foot forward and through. Find the positioning for the lunge in the legs and come on up to a crescent lunge. So pull the belly in and up. Feel the legs work a little harder this time. Holding all your weight up. Hands to the floor. Plank pose. Lower to the floor. Cobra pose. Curl your toes under, downward facing dog. Lift your left leg, start with a bent knee. Make sure your shoulders stay strong as you straighten your left leg and spread the toes. Lifting the leg up high, but drawing back in that outer right hip crease. And then exhaling, swing your left foot forward and through. Find your crescent lunge position. Arms come up. Deep bend in the front leg. Back leg as strong and straight as possible. Press through the inseam of your right foot. Whole inner leg is strong and straight on the right leg. And hands to the floor, plank pose. All right, now in this plank, we are gonna just do a little twisting. So take your feet slightly wider. Roll to the outer edge of your right foot, inner edge of your left foot, but keep your hands on the floor and lower your right hip down toward the floor. And then inhale, lift up. Rotate 180 degrees on your feet. Outer edge of the left foot, inner edge of the right foot, lower your left hip. Shoulders back. And lift the hips, come back to your plank pose. Now go ahead and lower to the floor again. Inhale into a cobra. Curl your toes under, exhale back to down dog. Step your feet up toward your hands to come to forward fold. Feet again about hip distance apart, bowing forward. Bend the knees a little bit and slide both hands around to the outside of your right foot. And then straighten your left leg by pressing back through the outer left hip crease, leaning the weight into the left foot and walking the left hand slightly off to the right, a little further if you have some room to play with it. Now, if you cannot bring your hands to the floor, have your hands up on blocks or up on the outer shin. All good. And then bend both knees, slide the hands outside the left foot about 45 degrees. Left knee stays bent, straighten the right leg, press back through the outer right hip. Lean your weight a little more fully into the outer edge of the right foot and heel. All right, bend both legs. Walk your hands out in front of yourself. Come back into a chair position, arms up. Bring your hands to prayer and slide the hands right to heart center. Now shift your weight over to your left foot. Pick up your right foot, balance. Press into the midline with your inner thighs and with your hands. Your fingers and your toes are spreading and working pretty hard. Now can you straighten your right leg back behind you? Keeping the hands at heart center. Woo. You gotta work your balance, and some days you got it and some days you don't. Keep breathing. All right, now set the back foot down and find your way back up into a crescent lunge. Excellent. Hands to prayer, tip forward, and we'll twist to the left. Take your right elbow outside your left leg. Hands to prayer, and come into a prayer twist. Scoot your right elbow a little further past your left leg and bring your hand down to the floor. And bring your arms up into a wingspan here. All right, look down at the floor, bring the hands down, and step back to down dog. Shift forward to plank, lower down to the floor, take a cobra pose, and lower down. Curl your toes under, down dog. Hop or step, top of the mat, forward fold. Bend your knees, bring your hands to prayer position in front of your heart. Shift all of your weight over to your right foot and balance. Pick up your left. Hug the midline with your hands, your inner thighs. Spread your fingers and toes. And as you balance, can you straighten your left leg straight back behind you, toes pointing toward the floor? Just see how it is to hold your balance here. Maybe you can straighten your standing leg. Maybe you need to keep it bent. All right, and then we're going to step back with the left foot. Find your way into a crescent lunge, arms up. Pull the abdomen in and up, find your strength. Tip forward, hands to prayer. Let's take the left elbow outside of the right knee. And come into a prayer twist. So feel free to keep your hands here alongside of the hip and keep trying to turn the torso a little more fully open. Or maybe you bring your left hand to the floor outside the right foot. Take your left arm up and give yourself a nice wingspan. And release. Hands to the floor. Step back to downward dog. Shift forward to plank. Lower down to the floor. Take your back bend. Curl your toes under, downward dog. Walk your hands back to your feet. Come back to forward fold. Inhale, take your arms out and up. Come all the way up to standing. And slide your hands to heart center. Excellent. Release the arms down. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold in. Walk your hands out and forward. Come back to downward facing dog. Lift your right leg up behind you. On your exhale, bring it forward and through into a lunge. And let's make it side angle stretch. Spin your back heel down. Right elbow on the thigh, left arm alongside of the ear. Come on up to warrior two. Arms out parallel to the floor, goddess warrior. Back hand to the back leg, turn your front palm up, tip up and lean back. Come on up and windmill the hands to the floor. Pick up your back heel. Lift your hips and straighten your right leg. Reach through the crown of your head. Bow forward toward the inside of the front leg. Inhale, lift halfway. Take all the weight over to the left hand and keep your right leg straight. Turn yourself to look to the right. Roll the shoulders back. And here you are in a wingspan. Now let's take this right arm back behind you. Can the right hand reach toward the left hip? The right leg is as straight as you can get it. Pull the sides of the neck back. Really give yourself a nice twist there. Feel into your front leg. And then bend into the front knee, set your back knee down. And then see if you can bend the left leg and reach back for the left foot with your right hand. So roll the shoulders back, pull the back foot toward you, towards your head. Go a little deeper into your twist here. And then release. Back foot to the floor, both hands to the floor, step back, downward facing dog. Lift the left leg. On your exhale, bring your foot forward, find your way into side angle stretch. Left elbow to the thigh. Open up through the chest, top arm alongside of the ear. Pull the belly in and up and use some muscular energy to find the full expression of your pose. Inhale up to warrior two. Back hand to the back leg, turn the front palm up. Goddess warrior, lift up through the left arm, lean back. All right, come on up. Windmill the hands to the floor. Pick up your back heel to find your lunge again. And we'll start to straighten this left leg. So lift the hips, pull back in the outer left hip crease and try to square your hips to the top of your mat. Extend through the crown of your head to keep your spine long, shoulder blades down the back. And exhale and bow right to the inside of your left leg. Inhale, lift up halfway. Take the weight over to the right hand and take the left arm up into a wingspan. Doing your best to keep this left leg pretty straight here. Now can your left arm come back behind you? Hand sliding around the outer right hip, rolling the shoulders back. Pull the sides of the neck back. Maybe you can turn and look up a little bit here. You can keep your left arm where it is, look down, bend into your left knee, and set your right knee down on the floor. Now, bend your right leg and see if that left hand can reach back and take a hold of the foot behind you. Pull the foot in close to you so your right heel comes a little closer to the hip. Roll the shoulders back, bending into the front knee. You always want to make sure your knees are going the same direction as the toes. Rolling the shoulders back. Getting a little thigh stretch there. And then release. Both hands to the floor. Step back to down dog. Let you forward into plank pose. Come down to your belly. Okay, so stay on your belly, and I'm just going to change angles here. And we're going to come into bow pose. So just bend your knees, Reach back and take a hold of your ankles or the tops of the feet, whatever's more reachable for you. Hug in towards your midline, press your knees down into the floor. Shrug your shoulders up towards your ears and lift up. Press your feet back into the hands and take your bow. All right, and release. Just let your legs rest. Rest your chin on your hands. Just feel into your heartbeat. Excellent. Slide your hands back alongside of your chest and press up to table pose. All right, so now, if you have a pair of blocks handy, this would be very helpful. If you don't have blocks handy and you have a chair or you have an ottoman or a couch or something, anything that would work, just to give your hands a little bit of height and support. So where we're going with this now is we're going to do basically kind of like an eye of the needle pose or a Galavasana preparation as a hip opener. So stand with your feet about a hip distance with your hands on your blocks, about a foot forward of your toes. And then bend your knees, moving the seat back. And first we're going to cross the right ankle over the left knee, so make a figure four with your legs and then bend back into your standing leg. So see if you can walk your seat back a little bit. Move your sitting bones back. Do whatever you need to do with the blocks to find support for yourself. Now I'm going to walk both blocks over to the right as I'm sitting in this seat. And then lift up and walk both blocks over to the left. Woo! Oh yeah, so moving the seat back, walk that right hand further out to the left if you can, and then walk both blocks back to center, and set your right foot on the floor, and lengthen your spine. Press your sit bones back, and really see if you can get a little bit more of that lumbar curve back into the spine for a moment or two before we go to the other side. Okay. So let's bend the knees. Now we're going to cross the left ankle over the right knee and sit back. Sitting back in the seat, working in the hips a little bit here. So left ankle over right knee. Walk your hands over to the left for a moment or so. Just see how it feels. Just to kind of take yourself off to the side and work with that sense of balance and twist a little bit. And then walk your hands back through center and take them outside of your right foot. Sit back. Try to rotate this outer left hip crease back a little bit as you sit more deeply in the pose. And then maybe your left hand walks out to the right a little bit more. And walk both blocks back. Go ahead and set your feet down. Come down onto your knees and give yourself a rest in child's pose. Let your big toes touch. Sit the hips back. Rest on the forearms. Now with your elbows right here at your shoulder distance, bring your hands to prayer and drop your thumbs right back behind your head. Can you walk your elbows slightly forward here and move the seat back? And then breathe into your back. And then release the hands down. Now, if you still have your blocks nearby, bring your blocks in on their flattest setting, fairly wide on your mat, and then bring your elbows back onto the blocks, hands back to prayer position, sit back again, drop your hands back behind your head with your elbows up on your blocks. So see if you can also get a sense of just letting the heart and chest descend a little bit. Breathe into the back body. Every exhale just allows the shoulders to open a little bit more as the chest softens. And then release. Okay. So we're going to take one last back bend here. We're going to make it a nice passive back bend. You can use a bolster. You can use your blocks and a blanket. So anything at all that would pretty much work for you. I'm going to take 2 blocks on their flattest setting end to end, just like that, and throw a blanket over it. So this is kind of the equivalent of a bigger bolster. Now, you may also want to have a little support for your head, but we're really not going to stay here that long. So sitting forward of this setup here, just start to drape yourself over. Make sure that this isn't up too high. If it's up higher, then it's going to be uncomfortable for your neck like right away. So you got to have this set up fairly close to your lower back. Drape yourself over it and then just catch your head in your hands. And then you can hold your head to whatever feels like the best angle for your neck right now. Now, if you're coming into this and your body says, oh, this is just all too much, then take all the stuff out from underneath you, and you could just use a blanket, or you could skip this altogether. Again, like I said, we're not staying here too long. I just wanted to add a little more of a passive back bend here. All right, and now from here, roll to your side, find your way up. And now, my friends, it's time for Shavasana. So after a kind of a nice practice, really kind of twisting ourselves, working many different aspects, now a much deserved Shavasana. So feel free to lie down. I have a blanket here. I'm just going to put up the length of my spine, lay down, turn my palms up, scoop my shoulder blades in, and there you have it. So please just relax. Settle into your own breath. And just feel whatever kinds of shifts or changes have occurred as a result of doing a physical practice today.